If I can't speak for her, who else is going to? You know? Look, it happened for 2 years because I wasn't her voice, or I couldn't be, or nobody could hear me.
Where did you think Harmony was for the last 2 years?
I thought she was with her dad, and he was just being a jerk, really. That's what I hoped was happening, you know, but in my heart I knew something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Like, he was going to extremes to block me and make sure that I couldn't contact her or anything, or even to the point, like, once his family started calling DCYF and he knew, he then cut them off, and then I couldn't even get information from them, you know, because at least I could get information about what was going on through them. Couldn't even get anything from them. He literally cut anybody that questioned him about how he treated Harmony or what he was doing, he cut them off.
When was the last time you actually saw Harmony?
In a FaceTime video, like 2-3 days before Easter. I showed her a basket. I said, I'm coming in a couple days. Mommy got you a basket, you know? I held onto that basket for a year and some change, hoping, you know, that I'd have a chance to give it to her.
And what did she seem like when you saw her on FaceTime?
Terrified. I would say, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, what'd you eat for lunch? What'd you do today? You know, are you going to school yet? Like, you know, how are your brothers and sisters? You got any friends? You know, little questions like that. I'm her mom. Like, I want to know these things. I want to know she's happy. And every time I asked these things, he would pause it and he'd tell, whatever he'd say to her, I can't hear him, he'd mute it. And she'd be like, don't tell her, don't, and she'd be like, you know, and I'm watching her, so he'd unmute it, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you muting it every time I ask her a question? Why aren't you letting her talk to me? Why are you answering for her? Like, you're acting weird, Adam. I'm like, what's going on? Like, we're co-parenting. Like, you're letting me have visits. Like, what's going on? He's like, I have sole custody, sole decision making. You don't get to ask me shit. And he hangs up and blocks me. And that was the last thing I had contact with her and saw her at all.
What made you call the police before Christmas?
It was a couple weeks. You know, I had called right after he stopped talking to me, but I was talking to my therapist, and I was telling her, like, listen, this is affecting my mental health. I can't sleep. I'm super depressed. Like, you know, my son's well taken care of, but me personally, I was really sad, you know, like something right here all the time, just telling me, like, you got to get her, you know. And I said to my therapist, I said, no one's hearing me. I've made reports. I've talked to desk people at DCF office because I didn't have a certain extension, because Demetrius wasn't on the case anymore, which was the person that was supposed to remove her that didn't. He knew Adam personally. He was Adam's DYS counselor. So he was a conflict of interest from the beginning. So the 3 times they were supposed to remove her, they didn't, because he knew him personally. And then I got word when Mauricio had reached out to me and said, you know, I was told you had made past reports, and then they started asking me questions about Harmony, and I said, I still haven't seen or heard from her, nothing, and didn't hear anything. The guy I have all the text messages from the guy basically doing nothing. So I reached out to the mayor, and I said, listen, if you guys don't help me find my daughter, because DCYF and DCF and Mass dropped the ball on this one, let her slip through the cracks, I said, I'm going straight to the media. I don't care. It was like hours later, I got a phone call from the police in Manchester. And I had already called the Manchester police. They told me I couldn't file a missing persons report because he had physical custody of her. So they said, like, they told me go to court and file a petition to get custody. So I go there, and they tell me if it's a DCYF open case, then I can't go there and go to court. So they were running, like, sent me around for busy work, you know what I mean, while they were trying to figure out how to cover their butt. And it was just, when they knew I couldn't do anything at the courthouse, but they still sent me over there, you know what I mean? And then, you know, the cops called me, and they're like, we're completely involved now. DCYF told me this is really suspicious, blah, blah, blah. And then it came on the news.
Have you ever seen Adam be violent?
Yeah, when I was in a relationship with him, he used to choke me. I was pregnant with her, he'd choke me. Like, all kinds of stuff. If you did more than him, he'd choke you. If you were texting and he didn't want you to, or somebody he didn't like, he would do whatever to you, scream at you, get in your face, whatever. He uses his intimidation to and manipulation to get what he wants. Always has.
Have you ever seen him be violent towards Harmony?
We had a play therapist that she had while he was getting visits when I had custody of her, and even my play therapist had made a report, before he got custody, mind you. I still had custody of her at this point. The play therapist made a report of abuse, saying there was definite abuse going on in the house during visits, and when she told me that, I completely never let him have visits with her again, you know, because Nan was supervising them, and there was like once or twice where she had doc's appointments and stuff, so she wasn't there the whole time, and he's short-tempered, you know, so he, you know, as soon as he gets the second or loses his temper, he's gonna hit her, you know, and my daughter is, she's just like me, you know, she talks a lot, and she's excited, and she's smart, you know, she kind of even thinks she might even know a little bit more than you know, even though she doesn't, but that's just her, and she's just beautiful like that, but I just don't ever see someone getting so angry to where they bash her around the house, as he said, you know, I just don't understand. If that was the case, and that's what you planned on doing with her, why go for custody? To spite me. That's all it was. It was never for love for Harmony.
Did he ever speak negatively of Harmony?
Yeah, oh yeah. He'd say, when I talked to him, you know, I'm like, so what was going on at the visits? You know, like, I questioned him about what the therapist had said. Hence, telling him no more visits. Because he was blowing on my phone, he was supposed to pick her up, and I didn't answer. Then he showed up to the sober house in Roxbury making a scene, and the director was like, we'll call the cops on you. You know? And I told him, this is why. You're doing extreme punishments to her. She all kinds of stuff like that the therapist had gotten out of her just by playing dolls in a dollhouse. Imagine? I was horrified. I was like, no. I told DCF, and that was that. Like, months later, they hand over custody.
How is it possible she got to stay with him after all of that?
I don't understand. I still don't understand to this day. I had a court date on the same day of that hearing for Jameson's adoption. So I sent over to get a continuance from the courthouse saying, hey, we need a different court date. I can't cut myself in half. They denied my continuance and just handed him over custody because they wanted to wash their hands of the case. You know, they were done with it. It was the lady said it was open 4 years too long.
So, I know, oh, sorry, come back a little bit this way.
Oh, sorry.
Stay in one spot, yeah. Okay.
I was trying to get out the wind.
No, I
it was
know.
like, whew.
Only a few more questions and we'll be done. I know it's cold.
I don't know where he is. He needs to just come give me my coat.
I know, I mean, these are tough questions to ask a mom, but I mean, do you think Harmony's alive?
I still believe she's here. I think he has her with either like his mother that no one knows really anything about because she never raised him, you know, but I think he would call his mom or hit her up on Facebook and say, I'm in real bad trouble. I need you to take her. You're the only one that no one knows. You know what I mean? I feel like she's still here. I would know, man. Like I said before, a mother knows. You know when your baby's not here anymore. You know, you feel it the day it happens, you know, and yeah, I've woken up with panic attacks and woke up calling family members freaking out because, like, I just have a terrible feeling all the time. But it's not a feeling of that she's not here anymore, you know?
With his violent past and addiction, I mean, do you think he could have...
I feel like he sold her. I think he sold her because the same week that they're saying this happened, the day after Thanksgiving to December 6th, was the week after my son legally got adopted on the news. You know what I mean? And he knew what my son looked like. He, you know, that's my daughter's brother, you know. So he saw that, and I really think it's connected. I think, like, he got that idea from seeing that and was like, oh, I can do it illegally, you know? Because not for nothing, right around the same time, you know, human trafficking was at an all-time high. So was Oregon harvesting, which I don't even want to go there, you know. But at least if he sold her to a family that legally couldn't adopt or something, you know, there's still hope that she's at least safe somewhere, you know.
Do you feel any guilt?
Oh, yeah, every day. Every day. I played a part in this. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm innocent. Like, I'm a recovering addict. Like, when I gave birth to her, I didn't know nothing about being a parent. I didn't know nothing about getting in recovery, but I never stopped trying. I always went into program after program after program trying to, you know, prove to her and my family that I wasn't going to stop until I got better, you know. And I just, you know, especially when I kept reaching out to Adam, kept reaching out, like I even was like, I even wanted to show him, like, look how far I've come, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of shame and guilt, you know, that come with this. But it's not gonna set me back. It's gonna motivate me to keep fighting for her and keep looking for her, because if I can't speak for her, who else is going to, you know? Look what happened for 2 years because I wasn't her voice, or I couldn't be, or nobody could hear me. You know, I just want people to hear me and come forward and tell us something, because somebody knows something. It's a fact. Like, someone knows something, and either they're too afraid to get in trouble or whatever, but someone knows something.
And just my last question, the search happening at the house now.
They're just scouring for any type of anything, really.
Do you think there's something at that house?
No. I don't have a feeling like there's... I get these crazy intuitions, I always have, and I don't have any type of intuition about that house. I feel like they're wasting time, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I'm also hoping as well, you know, that there's nothing. So...